The illegal elbow.
Elbow techniques. This is the elbow. An elbow from here. I'll throw the elbow.
Yeah, the illegal elbow.
Alright, people, we're back, man. Illegal Elbow Radio. Another exciting episode for you guys, man. This is Brian from Illegal Elbow Radio, Illegal Elbow on Twitter.
And this is Dan from MMA Aftermath on Facebook and Twitter.
It's finally here, people. Happy New Year, man. Happy New Year. 2015, 2014. Get the fuck out of here, okay? We're done with your ass. And guess what?
Enough of the injuries, enough of the eye pokes.
Exactly. And enough of, some of this other shit. Just, CM Punk, we don't want to hear about you coming in a year after your announcement. Just get the fuck over here and fight. But anyway, that being said, we're going to hear enough about that. And along with 2014 being gone, and we're done with that, we're done with all the hype train of a Bones Jones and a Cormier. Okay? The blah, 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 talking back and forth. It's about time you get in the ring, get this fucking thing settled. Before we get into that fight, though, man, we do have a badass stacked card. We're going to go over some of the undercards here. Brian, what are you looking at, man?
I'm looking at Shawn Jordan taking on a new guy that I really don't know much about, man, and it sucks because every now and then you get to a guy that you weren't able to really look at before coming into a UFC. But Jared Cannonier, however you say it, I'm not really sure, but like I said, he's a new guy, man. He's a new guy to me. He's probably a new guy to you. So, if he's not, my apologies. But whatever. Shawn Jordan has been on a bumpy road, but he's coming in here, against a undefeated dude, 7-0. Jared is. So this makes for an interesting fight because it could be where Shawn Jordan goes completely into the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
With a Canada, wherever we should take a look at where he's from because that'll really answer.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it might be a little French Canadian, maybe.
Right, with that IER at the end there, So, but anyway, Jared. We'll just leave the last name out of it, but could be a very interesting fight. We don't know, like we said, we don't know a ton about this guy. So it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what Shawn Jordan does with this and how he prepares, really. Because it's like, if you see the same old shit where he either gets his block knocked off or just gets outclassed completely, well, he hasn't changed anything with his training camp and whatnot.
Like you're saying, it's almost the extreme on both ends. He's either getting his block knocked off or he's knocking blocks off. So
yeah, it's that to me, it's like, okay, you got to tie up some loose ends here. So this fight's going to really tell us whether he ties up some loose ends or not. We're going to see. January 3rd, it's going to happen. He's going against an undefeated dude, so experience could weigh in very much for Shawn Jordan. Who knows? But we'll see, man. We'll see just how we'll see what he's made of, really. I mean, when we get down to it. But all right, so damn, man, what in the heck is going on? Hector Lombard, Josh Burkman, man, what top? What's happening? Out with it.
fuck, man. I just want to see a Hector Lombard that I seen back in Bellator, as the champion. A Hector Lombard that I was like, man, he'd do pretty good in the UFC.
Yeah, awesome.
This guy's a fucking freight train. He's wrecking motherfuckers. He's the champion. Guess what? Came over to the UFC. Fucking Tim Bosch.
Big old hiccup.
Yeah, fucking Tim Bosch coming in. Oh yeah, you got all that. Guess what? Come around to the, I'd say halfway through the second, third round. Fucking gas tank from Lombard, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
From what I remember of it. And then we're like, okay, why is he? You're thinking all kinds of shit. You're saying, is he sick? What was he on? Maybe, possibly.
People talk about the jitters and all that.
The jitters. You can talk about the jitters, the juice, the flu, but
yeah,
all those things. When you look like that after when you dominated, it's either is it that much of a drop off when you come over to UFC at Tim Bosch? Is Bellator that much of a drop off from a Tim Bosch? That's what you start thinking. But coming up, he came back. Hector Lombard's come back, and he's had some good victories. His last one being, fucking making Nate Marquardt look like a folding chair, bro.
Yeah, lawn chaired his ass. It's pretty sick, man. Just speaking of Nate Marquardt too, it's like that's the last. He's also on this card, which is, which was Nate Marquardt And a little bit after that was Jake Shields. You know, the Jake Shields fight we talked about earlier. Which decision win, but I mean, a lot of it just looked like, you know, a lot of the game that Jake Shields has, he just could not implement it with a guy like Lombard. He just could not get going.
Yeah, he wasn't having it.
Yeah, Lombard wasn't accepting any of the game of the Jake Shields, just which a lot of guys, Jake Shields has that way of making guys look like different fighters. You know what I mean? He's got that style to where he just knows how to make certain guys really uncomfortable, man. And it's, you know, and perform differently. So
yeah, especially when the guy is taken out of his game plan and protecting himself from getting taken down, or, you know, because Jake Shields is the kind of guy that likes to put his weight on you. You know, he's that kind of, he's a catch wrestler, you know, whatever, Greco, you know, grappler.
yeah,
But yeah, fucking Hector Lombard looked great in that, and then he also he beat a fucking Rosemont Paul Harris, dude.
yeah,
You know, Rosemont Paul Harris is a fucking badass, dude. All right, yeah, he's a little extreme. We know that.
He's also in World Series fighting too now.
Well, yeah.
He's fighting another, you know, World Series fighting.
His last fight with the knee bar was called into fucking question too. You know, isn't that why he got kicked out of UFC for excessive holding submissions for a bit too long? You know.
Yeah, hanging on to Shima when the ref is trying to break it up. He's still hanging on. It's like, come on, dude.
And putting fighters' futures in jeopardy, man. When you're doing that shit,
it's totally at risk, man. It's not cool. It's not acceptable.
Fans could call bullshit, but fans of the sport can say, "Hey, man, there's other fighters coming up. You don't need to fucking shred a guy's arm or shred a guy's knee." Yeah. That being said, I don't want to get too far off track, but you know, he was beaten by a Hector Lombard. Looked great there. Okay. He lost against a Yushin Okami. Then we're talking about how he beat the shit out of a Nate Marquardt. Then a Jake Shields. I'm not sure if he had an injury or whatnot, because it's been a while. You know, March 15, 2014. You know, so Hector Lombard. I just want to see Hector Lombard come in against Burkman and dominate. But that being said, Burkman, he's probably around the same age, 36, maybe around there.
Burkman's
but he
34. You know what I mean?
He has a similar record, doesn't he?
Yeah, 27-10 right now for Josh Burkman. It's just, these guys are both total vets. I mean, just they're bringing a lot to the table, man. You know what I mean? It's a lot of experience, just a lot of know-how going into a you know, cage, and it brings a shit ton of excitement for guys like you and me. It's like, You're talking about, you know, plenty of tools in the damn shed you're going on that are getting sharpened right now, and when they go head to head, it's going to be sick. But I would have to weigh in the area of a little bit of a Hector Lombard. I like his experience better than I do a Burkman, because Burkman's been a top dog over at World Series of Fighting.
Yeah.
Title defense hiccup against Steve Carl. You know what I mean? They came back and beat Tyler Stinson, and then since then he's making his first fight in the UFC, first Hector Lombard. That's a huge step up. So,
and the jitters too. You know, we're talking about the Lombard when maybe he had it against Bosch. We're going to see what Burkman's going to be doing here, but you know, the jitter shit. We can always say, hey man, after the first round, I think the jitters are out the window in a fight, but you know,
yeah. I guess it's, you know, it depends on the individual, but I would go ahead and say I'm going to call Lombard win, even if it's, you know, if he doesn't take him out, I'm going to say decision win.
Yeah.
You know,
same here.
I'm going to say, you know, across the board, definitively a decision win if he doesn't knock him out. But you know,
yeah, I'm going to say a Lombard victory, but personally, I would like to see an old school Lombard, to where the divisions put on notice Lombard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Which we've seen the last few times out. We've seen it, man, big time. It's huge, man. Lombard can really come on and make a fat stink and really, like you say, you know, warn the whole division. Hey, man, yeah, I'm reminding you again, I'm here. So, which I really strongly believe Hector Lombard doesn't fight enough, but it's just me.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Since March, I was wondering if there was an injury. I can't remember with all the fucking injuries that go on, dude. But
Yeah.
you know, it could have been a possibility.